Welcome everyone, this is Pineleaf Noodles and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Terry Adwin.
Hi.
And Sanswinda.
Hello.
And welcome, and this week we have some news because we have update 21.3 is now live.
For real this time.
For real, yes.
Yes.
And we only had that. We had 21.3, plus we also had a hotfix in order to take care of a couple of problems with 21.3.
Yeah, just a few minor issues.
But the big things with it are the raid, which is one of the things that had to be fixed in there. Stuff for the Winter Festival. The ability to... Oh, yes, the reflecting pools in Mordor.
Yeah, reflecting pool in Mordor in the Wastes. And, finally, we've been waiting, the Cat Wander sequence.
All right. That's right. We can't forget that. So therefore, anyone have anything else other than those exciting things you opened up with? I know we discussed a lot of this stuff to death already, and
yeah, we've talked update 21.3 pretty well since it's been on Gore.
But now that it's live, you have a chance of getting The Floor is Lava.
That's right. You could get it in a Gorgoroth-bound loot box, or if, like me, you've filtered those things out because they drop at a ridiculously crazy, insane rate. You can also purchase it for stupidly high amounts of ash.
Right.
yeah.
I got a
lately
watching stone that's probably free of spirits.
Probably.
Maybe,
yeah.
Well, you don't want to bring one with spirits into the Shire.
And I accidentally placed it inside my house, which was kind of funny.
Inside your house?
Isn't it supposed to be a yard item?
Yeah, I think it is, but it fit in a furniture item too, and that was not where I wanted it, so I promptly took it back out, but it was funny.
Okay. So it wasn't the large bank vault where you have yard items inside.
It was not in a large bank vault. I have a nice hobbit hole, thank you very much.
Okay, nice hobbit hole. Okay. Fine,
that was not the proper decoration, even in my Mordor room.
Okay. You want to keep out visitors, right? So you put a watching stone in your front yard.
Right. Everybody, stay away. Very far away.
Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, you're going to have one of those fell goats as a property guard.
Ooh, that'd be pretty cool. I think I'd rather have that than the watching stone.
Then let's head to the Yule Festival, where it sounds like the big thing for this year's Yule Festival are all the elk I've been seeing running around.
Oh, yeah. The elk and the snowy owls. And there's also a snowy hare, which is the cutest thing. It's a white rabbit, basically.
All right. I know, I would say for me, I never could be able to tell on sight the difference between a hare and a rabbit anyway.
Yeah, it's really cute. Sarissa had enough tokens left over. The big thing with the Yule Festival is they don't require you to complete the extra 2 tiers of the More the Merrier deed in order to get the cosmetics. So unless you're getting the couple of cosmetics that require you to use the gold tokens, there's no reason to hang on to those gold tokens. And she had like 5 of them. So she didn't actually have to run any Yulefest stuff to get her Yulefest stuff. So she's already got the elk. She's got the last couple of War Steed cosmetics that she was missing from last year's Steed. And the pats. I got the shoulders. The shoulders they were like my primary cosmetic. They were my must-have cosmetic for the year. Note about cosmetics. Standing Stone still has not learned that they need to stop making the cosmetics bind to account on Acquire, because it's really frustrating, and it really needs to stop. Pretty please?
Please.
Because I really would like to be able to share my cosmetics with more than just like one person. Because the only way you can share it is by getting a gift box, but you can only share the gift box. You can give it to one person. So
right, and then they can't share it with anybody either.
Aside from buying like a bunch of gift boxes of the same cosmetic, that's not an ideal solution.
Especially when there's not really space to store it.
Yeah.
I'm at least out of purchasable inventory slots.
We really need to stop making those bind to account. Because one of the best things in LOTRO is the cosmetic system. And it's really hard to take advantage of the cosmetic system and share with friends if all of your cosmetics are bound to you. Which, yes, I understand they want people to be running the festivals, but if somebody's new, they've missed the festival, then they have to wait a whole year for it to come around again, which is not ideal. So,
though they did get something pretty awesome for this festival with the doing away with the needing tier 3 to get any cosmetics or mounts that were good of the deed. The more the merrier.
That's true.
I do really appreciate that, especially for my new mounts.
Okay. Anything else related to the festival before we head to the beacon?
I think that's it for now.
Very well, then let's head into the LOTRO beacon, where this week we have the Yule Festival on the top of it, as usual, with a couple of people checking out a horse. And are those the shoulders, the one on the left that you're talking about?
No, those are shoulders you can't actually get.
Ah, okay. So they're okay. So people decorated as you can't get them.
Right.
I'm sure that's a bit of a tease.
Yeah, those were pre-order cosmetic for one of the expansions.
Ah, okay.
I want to say Isengard, but I could be mistaken. They're on my list of things I really wish I could get.
They are cool shoulders.
But
and a deed from a couple of years ago, actually.
If those are Isengard shoulder, then I would have to have them somewhere since I have...
I don't remember. I'll have to look it up and get back to you.
Yeah.
Do you have all the pre-orders, Pineleaf?
I might not have Moria's pre-order, but I definitely had the pre-orders from everything else.
Cool.
Now let's head into our weekly comment. Are dwarves or elves more likely to win in a snowball fight? And why?
Dwarves. They can hide easier. They're short.
Yeah, I suppose.
And they could probably, if you gave them enough time, build a snow fort that nobody could find the entrance to, but they could still throw snowballs out of.
Because again, dwarves.
Oh yeah, in other words, there'll be a secret entrance to the snow fort that only dwarves can find.
Right,
yeah,
right.
That's dwarves.
And probably only at a certain time of year, too, unless you know the secret passcode.
Well, I have a feeling that if it's in the middle of June...
It'll be a moot point anyway. Unless it's perpetually frozen in the area where they're having a snowball fight.
Well, I suppose that's a possibility, but other than that, You have to have a place where dwarves and elves are equally going to be, though, I would think, if you're going to have it as be a fair question.
Elves should have good aim and be pretty stealthy, where the dwarves probably wouldn't be very stealthy if they had to move around.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking, though, that the dwarves might make a snowball about a meter wide and throw that.
That is possible. Hit lots of elves with one shot.
Yes. I could just imagine a snow catapult.
I can imagine the dwarves using it.
Yes, and it's on top of their snow fort.
Right, the elves can't break into.
Snow siege equipment, ballista, catapult.
That's right. So therefore, it looks like that the dwarves won the snowball fight through sheer engineering.
There you go.
Well, and the elves probably have better things to do anyway, so they probably take one look at it and they're like, meh, summer's coming. What's 1,000 more years? I've got hot chocolate.
And our screenshot of the week is from Stine, who held her Christmas party last weekend when she was doing her live stream on Twitch, and looks like it was full of fireworks, and that was being held, looks like on a private island over in Gondor.
Yep, that does look like a yard for a bank vault.
And I'm assuming that it was when the kin houses there most.
That's probably a safe bet.
Yeah. So therefore, anyone else have anything they wish to mention from the beacon before we continue with the store sales? Then what's on sale this week?
Well, this week's free sample is near and dear to my heart because it is a free Crimson die with coupon code Crimson.
Woohoo!
That's, I love the Crimson die. It's awesome.
It is.
And then we have a Yule savings event, which is 75% off the Eriador bundle, 50% off Vault storage, 50% off select cosmetics, and 35% off inventory slots, now through December 21st.
All right, thank you. And LOTRO Players News this week is brought to us by Durin's Bane. Choose Durin's Bane when you want to wreck an entire civilization. And this week at the site news, the Antipodean writer has provided us with another lost stanzas, In Moria, in Khazad-dûm. In Moria, in Khazad-dûm, from mountain root and hidden room, awoke one day grim Durin's bane, alas for dwarven kind it came. Deeply dwarves delved neath mountain stone for mithril ore to smelt and hone, and work all for its beauty's sake. No more for Durin's bane's awake. Its name of fear, spirit of fire, has claimed the deepness of Moria. Alas, the halls our fathers old have made are now but stories told to youngling who have never seen these places where their sires have been. Most those who lived there are all dead, for Khazad-dûm's a place of dread. Moria called, a loathsome pit for powers of darkness reign in it. Will Durin's folk return some day to rebuild Khazad-dûm? They say when Durin wakes to rule his own, dwarves shall return to mountain stone with doughty hearts, and there reclaim their homes, their hearts, their halls regain. Once more will Khazad-dûm's be fair, darkness at last dispelled from there. Never forget The dwarves are fain to come unto their own again, whence is destroyed Eld Urins.
Well read, Pineleaf.
Whee! And speaking of Khazad-dûm, what if you had a chance to learn Neo-Kudzu?
That is the Neo-Dwarvish language that the Dwaro scholar has developed. If you're into Dwarven roleplay, that would be kind of awesome. If you're into dwarves in general, that would be kind of awesome.
If you might need to enter a Dwarven snowball stronghold, that might be kind of awesome.
Ooh, that would really make it difficult to enter if you have to know Neo-Kudzu.
It would, wouldn't it? But if I were a dwarf, that's what I would make the way to find the door dependent upon.
And this is going to be held from early January to the end of March in 2018. And this is 10 weekly sessions. And it's for anyone serious about interest actually learning Dwarvish, even those who just got started. Maximum 8 students. So don't wait to sign up.
Yeah, and there's a link in the show notes. And sorry, I got distracted by an email. Apparently Druidspire is streaming, and her stream title said she's going to make me proud tonight, so now I have to turn that stream on. Presumably she's doing something with cosmetics and not wearing yellow.
Presumably.
Presumably. I mean, that's how you make me proud.
By not wearing yellow. Or
by not wearing yellow and playing with cosmetics.
Okay. Just checking.
Or, just one of those things would work also. But, what were we talking about?
Neo-Kudzu.
Neo-Kudzu, yes. Yeah, there's a link in the show notes. I caught this article really early in the week, and I was like, that needs to be our pick of the week, because we've had Dwaro Scholar on a couple of times. And, yeah, really knows his stuff. I expect it to be a really awesome course. I am not taking it, so you don't have to compete with me for a spot.
Now, did he say about when they don't have the exact dates for the...
He doesn't have an exact date because he's going to work with the people that he gets to kind of see who's available when to work out exactly when they're scheduling it.
That's probably one of the reasons why the max 8 students, because that's already pushing getting 8 people into...
Yes. I wish him luck in that endeavor.
Right, yeah. All right. First person that signs up is in Australia. The second person that signs up is in Wales. The third person to sign up is in India. The fourth to sign up is in New York.
I wish him the best of luck with that endeavor, and hopefully it all goes well. We'll have to see if we can get him on the podcast afterwards to talk about how that goes.
On how that goes, yes. Then let's head into our new player question of the week. And Terry, what's the question this week?
This week's question comes from an email that was sent in by a viewer, and it relates to last week we were talking about what was one of those things that you wish you had known, or that you only just realized and made you kind of facepalm. No, that's later in the email. This is the new player question. Do you get buffs, enhancements from legacy, settings, relics, and so on for all the allies in your ally panel, or just from ones that you have equipped?
I'm guessing from what you have equipped, but that's just based on watching my character screen.
That is, in fact, the correct answer. You only get the bonuses from what you have equipped.
Yeah. Which means you can't just create a legendary item, bring it all up to full, but use a non-legendary weapon instead and expect to get all those legs.
Right. On the other hand, while you only get the bonuses from the weapons that you have equipped, as long as you have the weapon slotted, it gets legendary experience. So that's why it's useful to have other weapons slotted and hanging out in your inventory. And then some people do this crazy thing, like they'll have one weapon for one spec and one weapon for another spec, and the same thing with their items. That seems like way too much stuff for me to carry around because I don't have that kind of bag space. But it apparently is a thing.
Right.
Especially by serious raiders, since they want to eke out every single ounce of ability from their tools that they can get.
Well, and then particularly for people who do switch specs fairly often for the purpose of doing raids.
Right.
Yeah.
In which case you should note that you will have the buffs or enhancements from whichever legendary item you have actually equipped to your character to use, not from the other ones that you're carrying around. So,
yeah.
Right.
You have to actually remember to change them back and forth for situations.
Yeah. Now, I should note, from the point of view of getting experience, earning experience on your legendary item, there is one exception to it, and that is the very first legendary item you get, the starter one that you get from the quest.
That's true. The first two, because the class item is the same way. The initial class item that you get.
Okay.
And they can be deconstructed after being reforged once, right? But until then, you kind of have to carry them in your first slot or use a legendary item XP pill on them to get them.
You have to level them up to level 10 anyway to progress into Moria.
Yeah.
Right, but let's say that you happened to be a new character and you got Mordor and you have this magical thing called an Aria. And then you decide you want into Moria at some point and you go back and you do that quest. Like, you can't use your better level 100 LI and still get XP on your new one.
Right.
That's supposed to be your first one at level 50.
Yeah.
But you can deconstruct it and get it out of your bags after it reaches level 10.
After you finish the quest.
Right, after you finish the quest to unlock Moria and you have the LI at level 10. You don't have to carry it around with you forever. It can be deconstructed.
Yeah. Because you have to get to level 10 before you can get into more. You have to get that to 10, reforge it, and after reforging it, then you face the Watcher. That unlocks Moria, and once you do that...
And you still have to do all of that to be able to use any of the Sari Stable Masters without paying Mithril in Moria. Even if you've met them all. Just for the record.
Yeah. Things you don't always think about when you area a character.
Right.
The joys. So anything else related to the legendary items you wish to mention that may be related to this? Then let's head into our week in LOTRO. And Sans Window, what were you up to?
Well, this week, Sans Window, my main Sans Window, opened the dailies on Landerval, and might actually be having a little bit too much fun being able to do the dailies on Landerval, but I can get a Black Steel Key every other day, which is nice. I still haven't had great luck with the loot boxes, but it's been nice. I haven't had horrible luck either. I just haven't gotten exactly what I want from them. And while running dailies for the first time, I ran into Oz from a Waif Shelfade who wrote in the other day. So that was pretty cool. And got to go raiding with Ploy and do some daily quests with them too, which was a lot of fun. I got Sans' gear, tier 2 ready. And, I was really pretty proud. Like, I got the finesse where it was supposed to be. I got my, critical defense where it was supposed to be. I got my mitigations where they were supposed to be. Like, at the ideal point for them. And then realized that my physical mastery is lower than it probably ought to be. So that will change in future builds. But she's still doing decent DPS, much better than my other level 115 hunter. So that's pretty cool. And then on Arkenstone for the field trip, I went skirmishing and questing in the Lowlands with my bumbling guardian, which was quite the change from my hunter, because apparently I can't just auto-attack with my bow, even if they're kind of in bow shot range. And it's pretty easy. I should be able to, but I couldn't get it to let me. It kept saying not in range.
Oh, yeah, you gotta be really close.
Oh, well, maybe my bow just doesn't have any range.
Well, your let fly skill actually goes further than your auto attack bow skill.
Weird. It's opposite on a hunter. Or at least blue line hunter.
Yeah, champion's the same way. I can actually shoot further with let fly than I can on auto attack.
Aha! That is good to know. Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome.
So I'll have to try that next time I'm out with that guardian. But, yeah, I had fun running through orc camps and causing havoc and getting lost and found and killing spiders and other things. And yeah, it was good. I accidentally fell off a couple things that I shouldn't have, you know. And then today I ran my Runekeeper, squishy Runekeeper, who was having all that trouble with the Nairman instance, into the last Argonite instance. And squishy Runekeeper is still squishy, even after I upgraded her gear. Spent a good bit of ash on her. And I actually got almost to the end the second time through after upgrading all her gear. And then there were 4 more avail. Again. And there was not enough room to kite them properly. And it was deadly. Again. So, she may or may not actually make it through that instance. I'm not sure yet. I'll keep trying and buffing her gear. But I'm kind of sad because she has to get through that instance to open the dailies. And that instance, for being solo only, I have no idea why it's solo only, but it was not nice. Again.
Yeah. You reminded me of a post by Maid of Lions this week when someone was telling how frustrated he was in going into Barad-dûr and not being able to complete the solo quests in there.
Right.
And Maid of Lions responded to that thing is that he has mixed feelings on the post, because on the one hand, as a designer, he feels that content that's designed for solo play should be soloable. But on the other hand, well, it is Mordor.
Well, right.
Mordor is supposed to be challenging, however.
It should be challenging, but I think, that particular instance could have at least a duo option, or it could have...
that one should have a duo option, yeah.
I mean...
Why not?
Why not? There's nothing necessary for it to be solo. And, I mean, or make it so that a light armor class wearing good gear can do it. I mean... Yeah. My gear was good before I upgraded it. It wasn't shabby gear that I just picked up wherever.
Hey, I got an idea. Make the ranger more useful.
If the ranger had actually fought, that would have been useful. But
Spoilers.
Sorry. He brandished his sword very wonderfully and didn't do anything with it.
Well, rangers, come on.
Well, I know, but he looked like he should be helpful. Anyway, squishy Runekeeper is still squishy, and we'll probably make another attempt on that instance. But that was her adventuring in Argonite this week. Terry, how was your week?
Well, I was really bummed at the start of the week, and we didn't have girls this week, so I was really bummed at the start of the week that we didn't actually get to do any of the Bloody Gore stuff. Not only did we not get to do any of the Bloody Gore stuff last week, the game, forgot that we even logged in on Thursday, because when I logged in on Friday, I had to roll my gold Hobbit present again, which I know I had rolled on Thursday.
It undid all the LI stuff I did. And got rid of the LIs that I had used to do the LI stuff.
What tiny bit of quest progress we had made got erased. So I logged in, Terry Adwin, with the intention of just going in and at least, finishing up the talking to the ranger that we did and getting the new quest, and then I was going to log back out. And then I got the quest, and I looked up the road, and I was like, I kind of want to see what this place actually looks like. So I ended up doing some solo play in Mordor, and I finished out that first round of quests in Agarnaith. And she actually got all the way up to where you discover Saragost, and then discover that there's some kind of hidden threat thing up there.
Oh, yeah.
And promptly got her butt kicked. But before that, she was doing great, because I took on a troll by myself, kicked its butt. I was taking on horns. I was taking on all these elite things. I was feeling really powerful. And then the Moraval, which was on level, by the way, because everything else was like blue names, so it was a couple levels lower. The Moraval on level just completely wrecked me.
Stun?
So, no, it was just, the stun at the last minute before I got a chance to pop the healing stuff. But my healing stuff was on cooldown anyway, so I was like, I'm gonna die.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
yeah,
third lead master, or is it worse than that?
I don't remember. It did not end well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
so
one is nasty.
Having done that, I was all set to go in on Thursday with the group, and of course Maven and Pine Sap hadn't actually done that first round of quests, so I did it again. And that was cool, because they're looking for the stuff they need to be looking for, and I'm killing everything. I'm killing everything, all of the things, everything. And I'm really glad that I don't have red dots up as I'm running through the Bloody Gore, because I really think that I would be way more stressed about being in Mordor if I could actually see how many red dots were on the map. Because I'm just kind of running through and I have no clue what I'm aggroing, because half the time the shrubbery is hiding like things. So it pops up out of nowhere. So I've aggroed like 3 or 4 things before I even realized what I'm fighting. And it's fine, because we just burn it down. And we went back and we did the second round of quests, and we met this goblin who was the goblin Pineleaf was talking about last week, was an invisible goblin. I love this goblin. This goblin is like my favorite NPC since Jajax.
I can't wait for this week.
It was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. And he hasn't even gotten warm yet. For you.
Yeah. And so we've basically, on Thursday, I had the best time in the Bloody Gore, which was not something I ever expected to say. But I had the best time in the Bloody Gore. Because it's just so much fun calling it the Bloody Gore instead of calling it Agarnaith, because Agarnaith doesn't sound nearly as intimidating as calling it the Bloody Gore.
True.
Let me tell you, I was talking last week about the mist that's like ominously rising from the ground. It gets worse, because you get up in there and there are like these little mini geysers that are kind of like landscape pustules that splurt this red water that's on the ground anyway, and it basically just looks like it's like the landscape is oozing. It's disgusting, and I had a fantastic time. I'm like, that is so cool. But again, I'm only doing it on once a week, so probably if I was doing it on more characters, I would be way burnt out on Mordor. But yeah, so I'm like, yes, I really did just, that's gross. That's really cool, but it's gross. Was a lot of what went on Thursday. Also this week, Well Dressed Killing Machine experienced the Yule Festival. He has completed Tier 1 of the More the Merrier deed and has a new elk mount to match his new winter outfit, because I talked about getting the shoulders. The shoulders were a must-have, and then I proceeded to coordinate a new winter outfit for Well Dressed Killing Machine. So Well Dressed Killing Machine is totally running around Yule Fest in style.
Very nice.
Like, his name fits him right now, because he is very well dressed. And in searching for the cloak, I realized that the cloak that I actually wanted was on my warden. So my warden logged in and finished up in Thingglad, and she moved on to Standguard without actually finishing up and encouraging the bad romance questline. She did the first part of it, and then she's like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. It's stupid human. That's That's the Rohirrim that's like love at first sight with this elf. And it's just, from the start, it's just not going anywhere good. So she decided not to put herself through that trauma and said bye-bye. So that was my week. Pine Leaf, how was yours?
We will begin with in Landravul, where my warden completed the last region in Mordor. That's because even Scrooge Runekeepers had trouble with that quest in Saragost, but I admit it was not trivial. It was definitely far from a trivial quest. It gave me a couple of scary moments in there, but of course, Warden versus Runekeeper. That quest is not balanced. A Warden can get through it. I presume that a champion should have no trouble with it.
My hunter...
I actually don't anticipate any issues with whatever's coming.
Yeah, my hunter who was well geared didn't have much trouble either. There were a couple spots where she had to kite, but not bad.
Yes, but as Dan's told you, for a Runekeeper, forget it.
Yeah.
But anyway, my warden had absolutely no troubles with that. I got through with it. So therefore, all I've got left, I think, to unlock dailies on that character is to finish the Black Book, which I don't anticipate any trouble with that. Then my Crick Hollow Warden helped a Runekeeper survive an Uruk camp in Argonath, though I'm beginning to doubt the wisdom of me doing all this because I was just reminded how bad the final instances is for Runekeepers.
Yes, but that Uruk camp is pretty bad too, so that was very, very nice of you to help the Runekeeper.
Well, she is a Kinney, so that does help in that manner. So we managed to get all the way through there and finish that up. And I discovered in that one, because I don't know where all the towers are. In fact, Sans showed me today where all the towers are. Because I didn't notice, there was one time we went on there and it says, you have discovered the 7th tower. But I did not finish the deed with that, which means that, yes, there is still another tower in there that I have yet to climb. So I have not yet completed that deed. Then, on my Gladden Lore Master, reached level 50 while running skirmishes, because I'm running skirmishes on that character for the rest of the year. Though right now, today I had put on the Stone of the Tortoise because I don't want to go past 50 yet, because starting next year I'll be going into Moria and I'll be resuming leveling in there. I don't want to be level 52 when I enter into Moria. So now let's head into news beyond LOTRO, and the Lord of the Rings living card game is heading to Steam. And that was a little bit of a surprise when I heard that. And I have played Lord of the Rings living card game. It's an interesting little twist on the Lord of the Rings thing. It is a cooperative card game where you take on the role of a group that's attempting. Well, of course, you're attempting to complete certain missions in there, and you're facing against the dark side, of course, who's the automatic player on the side. And apparently in this, they are taking a lot of the stuff that you have to remember to do for the Dark Lord side and all that administration. That's being taken care of by the game so that you don't have to keep on thinking, did I remember to do that? And all that fun stuff. But anyway, that's something that you could check out in January, I believe, is when they are planning to release that. And also related to the Lord of the Rings living card game, The Wilds of Rhovanion is coming out as the next deluxe expansion. And it looks like, therefore, they are going to have some things related to, well, one of the cards in there I see is the Warrior of Dale, so some things related to Dale and the like will be coming out in this expansion. So that'll introduce the next storyline there. And I presume neither of you have ever played LOTRO LCG?
No.
I have not.
Very well. Did you even know what an LCG is?
I know what a card game is.
I'm
A
pretty
living
sure I
card
do.
game.
But yeah, I know what those are.
Okay.
I played Magic the Gathering back in the day.
Yeah, slightly different from Magic the Gathering in that Magic Gathering is a collectible card game, meaning that whenever you buy a pack, each pack is different.
Yeah, I know this is slightly different, but it's on the
It's
same
it's the same concept where each one adds new cards to what's available to build with and stuff like that. The major difference being that every pack is the same, so you don't have to buy multiples if you want to look for certain cards or something like that.
That's handy.
Finally, the One Ring RPG bundle up on Bundle of Holding.
The One Ring RPG bundle is up on the Bundle of Holding.
Well, an is in there would have been helpful for me.
Well, you can blame Drac for that because he's the one who did the title. I got it.
Okay.
It's a bundle. It's bundles of the tabletop game for ridiculously cheap prices.
Okay, that's useful.
Yeah, if you're interested in getting into the tabletop game and you don't already have the books, you can get the books for really ridiculously cheap.
Yeah, for $14.95, you get the starter collection, which retails for $45, which includes the complete RPG, The One Ring, and its companion, the Lore Master Screen Lake Town Guide, both as DRM-free PDFs.
Mm-hmm.
Then we currently have 19 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious raid of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Player Alliance on Patreon. Zero fun rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with for an episode of LOTRO Players News. This week we have a featured comment from Marmy and Sans. What did Marmy say?
Marmy says, well, I didn't know for years that you can mail account-bound items if you type your alt name first before adding such item to a mail. And that is handy, because if you try to put it into the mail without typing somebody's name first, it will tell you cannot mail that item.
Yeah, and then you are prone to thinking that you can't mail it at all. You actually can mail it to alts, but you have to put the alt's name in the mail first.
Right, and if you happen to have more than one account, you cannot mail it to your other account. It has to be within that account.
Correct.
I guess I've never thought of it since whenever...
Yeah, whenever I send a mail, I always type in the person's name that I'm sending it to first.
No, in my case, it's because I normally just throw it into the shared vault, so therefore I never think of mailing it to somebody.
Oh, I mail stuff all the time. That's how I deal with inventory overflow in the field. VIP mail everywhere is the one thing I probably will never give up. That's why my subscription will never lapse, because I can't get rid of mail everywhere.
I have a random question relating to mail that I just remembered.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you're doing something in your Ken house and multiple people have put items into it, and you return item to owner, or to owner's account, or whatever that option is, where does it go? Does it go through the mail and then can it time out, or what happens to it? Like if that person doesn't log in.
I think it actually goes into their housing escrow.
Okay.
Their housing storage or their housing escrow, I believe, is where it goes.
Okay, so
if they don't own a house, it would go in their escrow, basically.
Okay, or if their housing chest was full?
It would go in storage and it would just count as overflow.
Okay. Thanks.
We have an email this week from Bella and Terry. You want to handle this?
Sure. Bella from Arkenstone wrote, first of all, thanks for one of my favorite shows. I'm eagerly looking forward to each Monday's new episode. No live listening because Europe, which is sad. She sent us the new player question, which we've already discussed. And here are my 5 cents of things I wished I had known when I started playing. 1. Keep track of your class deeds from early on, level 20, 30 or so, when you start getting them. Check the LOTRO wiki and set a skill rotation that works them in smoothly. That way you'll achieve your class trait points earlier and get to learn how to use your skills. When you have your class deed trait points, you can set up a rotation that suits your playstyle and purpose. On my first alt, a level 80 hunter, I have completed 1 class deed. Sigh.
Actually, before we continue, that does remind me of something that happened today. Where we were questing in Moria.
No.
In Mordor, in Argonite, and doing all that stuff, and then I get a pop-up. Complete a deed. Know your enemy. I try to remember. All right. Well, my warden, yeah. I just double-checked to make sure that was the deed I thought it was. It says, yes, it's a level 1 deed.
115
Oops.
levels later?
Yeah, and to top it off worse, I then found that the equivalent one for defense, for shield, is still not complete. It's only half complete.
Oops. Wow, I actually get those done really early because I use those skills a ton.
Yeah. That one, yeah, shield, I just so rarely do that. Well, it shows you the result. I'm 115, I'm still only halfway through it.
I actually use that a lot because I like the animation for it.
Okay.
It just looks really cool. This actually, that's a good point. To when a deed pops up that, hey, you've got this class deed, you should look and see what skill does it. It's a little bit more complicated on a warden because warden, it has to do with the gambits, and I don't always know what those are. For every other class, you can pretty much just read your tooltips on your brar and see what skill that is, and then figure out where's a good spot to put that so that you're using it. Actually, for instance, Well Dressed has been doing festival quests, so he's leveling up, and he just got Merciful Strike, which is the skill that champions get. It's your finishing skill, basically. So it becomes available when the enemy is at a certain morale point. I think the default is like 25% or 15% of morale. You can use this skill. There's a deed for using the skill, but it's not actually in my normal rotation on Terry Adwin because she's finished the deed. So what I ended up doing was I put it on where Ferocious Strikes will go later, because he's not going to get Ferocious Strikes for at least 20 more levels, maybe more, because Ferocious Strikes is way at the bottom of the tree. So I figure I can put that in where Ferocious Strikes goes, and then when it opens up, I can remember to use it. And then you can always move it back out later if you get another skill that works. But yeah, finish the class deeds. They're super handy. Number 2, more on skill deeds. They turn yellow when you're done for the day. You can use Shift L to open your deed panel and see where you're at usage-wise. Bella discovered that after almost a year of playing. And yes, there is a daily limit. However, if you are using one of those skill and Slayer deed tomes, or just the skill tome, or just the deed tome, just the skill tome, that actually will take you beyond the daily limit. So if you have one of those skill deed tomes that you're using, use as many of those skills that work for your deeds as possible, because they actually will carry you beyond the yellow, even if you've run up against your limit.
Right.
That's one of the ways in which those things are handy.
And not only will they carry you beyond, they'll carry you on beyond at double what you would be doing if you didn't have the yellow.
At double what you'd be normally doing, yeah.
Right.
Useful for those skills that you don't normally use, or like for a Runekeeper healing type of skill that you can cast on a dummy. You can go up to the Etmors, where you scale up to the level of the training dummies, pop one of those and just sit there and spam the skill that you don't use anyway, but you're supposed to use, so that you get credit for using it X number of times.
Right.
You know, when you have a couple of hours to waste.
So, or use it when feeding on level, or close to on level. As long as the mobs are at least green.
Number 3, Universal Ingredient Packs, UIPs, are super, super useful, especially if you're an altaholic and need your mats to cover 10 or so alts. Manykins have the premium ingredient crates from where you get them. We haven't really covered UIPs too much, but universal ingredient packs, when anything that you craft using a universal ingredient pack is bound to account automatically. So you can't use them to craft gear for other people, but you can totally use them if you aren't feeling like going out and looking for the mats to craft like 1 or 2 pieces of gear for an alt. You can just use universal ingredient packs, and then you're covered.
And especially at lower levels, it's really handy because it doesn't usually take very many of those to make something.
Right. Number 4, if you're VIP, get gilded. This is especially useful in combo with universal ingredient packs. You can use your mats to get gilded, your universal ingredient packs to equip your alts with your fancy guild recipes, and Scholar only needs to reach Artisan of the Guild to buy all the Supreme Dye recipes. Combine with universal ingredient packs, and you can dye all your cosmetics all day long. And that's from Bella, Altaholic on Arkenstone.
Whee! If you would like to send us as thorough an email as Bella, you can send it to podcast@lotroplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlliance, Lotro Players @LotroPlayers, Ariandis @Ariandis, Maven Tolkien Maven, Pineleaf Pineleaf Needles, Samswinda Samswinda, and Terry Adwin Terry Adwin. The Players Alliance has 2 live shows every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have a Lotro Players News, but please note that next week we will not have a broadcast due to it being a holiday weekend. And every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. You can join us for our live shows at lotroplayers.com/live. That is all for tonight, and this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you, skirmish responsibly.